We got Camila Solomon coming.
Cloud.
3, 2, 1. Here we go.
9 on the scored repetitions.
For a lot of these guys, it almost looks like their rest right there for Willie Short. It almost looks like this was his break from the sweat.
See, if anybody comes down to break here, you got to think you're going to win this event, or you have a chance of finishing inside the top 10. You cannot drop off of that pull-up bar. Willie George in the middle of your screen, a guy who
One down.
did really well at pull-up bar last year. In fact, outdoing that.
9, last lap. Last lap, round 1.
5 seconds separating those spots. Those are pressure points now, especially as we start to get down to 30 athletes, because another cut is coming after this event. These ones, of course, we have another heat coming up. The overall leaders will be on the field. And Matt Fraser will keep his overall lead.
All right, 50 overhead.
He now sits in second place overall for the event.
And what a great event juxtaposed to the earlier event today, right? That was just slow and treacherous and kind of heavy. And now we're just fast and furious.
It's just part of the, the weaving of the events, the blending of the modalities, the test that we had yesterday were classic CrossFit events and hitting every modality we could, super long this morning, and then now we hit this sprint event. Is that everything started to fall into place for one beautiful scene as we move throughout the weekend.
Waiting for the second and final heat here. So the event will take the field. That's the Cloud. Just excellent. He is the owner right now with the fastest time of 1 minute 27.30 seconds. And again, after this, another cut coming as we move 40 athletes down to 30. And that's now when things start to get really serious as we head into the later part of the inside the Coliseum, and then as we move on to the weekend as well. What do you think these guys, especially guys who are sitting on the cut line, are thinking right now as they head out here?
Getting out on the cut line, I will slowly limp my way to the next heat, but it's so bad. So bad. Don't try that hard. It's one mistake.
Yeah, I mean, this is such a perfect event for those that are because you just have to go pedal to the metal and go for it. Go for growth.
A much different challenge than we saw earlier today. That long, grueling run. Now we have the short and fast sprint. It's the 4th event of the individual competition here at the 29th Games. This action continues in Gold Park at the Alliant Energy Center. It's the sprint couplet, a sled push, muscle ups, and if you blink, you might miss this one. Did we learn anything new from that?
Really fast. Well, I mean, all the guys went unbroken on the bar muscle ups, right? That's now the standard. As the race. If you see anybody drop, you can almost guarantee that they are not going to be, not going to finish well in this event.
This is where the point standings are at the moment. 300 points right now. James Newberg continues an impressive start. He is now in second place, followed by Jacob Hefner.
Doesn't matter who starts.
There comes Patrick Felder, who's been working his way up the leaderboard, and Brent Kalki cracks the top 10, courtesy of his last event finish. 172 feet down with 90 pounds.
2.
18 bar left Wilson. Do it all over again to the finish line.
I think the main
3.
point is that what the first heat did, anyone gonna win? No. Okay, is anyone that's
4.
Sled? Also no. And so when you're sitting there in the next set of 20, is like that sometimes just dramatically
5. Tag and 25 pulldowns.
Complete, like, okay, how do I maybe pace the first half so I can go unbroken to race the next? Like, nobody did that in heat number 1, and you're not gonna have a chance to do that in heat number 2. So sometimes that dramatically shifts your mindset going in to a level that makes it a bit uneasy.
Right now, the 20 men who are taking the field are all on the right side of the next cut line. However, seconds make a huge difference.
Yeah.
We saw 5 seconds separate, 6 places on the overall leaderboard? 10 seconds, you might find yourself quickly on the wrong side of the cut line here. So all these men cannot take the fact that they are safe for granted at this 5 minutes. Overall leader Matt Fraser with the white jersey on it. Next to him, no shirt, that's James Newberry out of Australia, who currently sits in second place overall. Travis Mayer is next to him, and then Jordan Carl Gubinson after that.
Well, arguably, we constantly talk about what's the most grueling physical test of the CrossFit Games over the years. I'm honestly going to have to admit that this might be the most mentally grueling one. Having to do with that loss of points if you finish low, all the different competitors, all those different factors kind of playing in, and now we're got a 2-minute event right in front of a cup.
And it's that thing where you, like you said, mentally, okay, if I drop off the bar, I'm losing points. Now, if I drop off the bar, I might not stay in the competition.
You're done, yeah. Grab your
4.
keys and head to the door.
Pat Bellner is inside the top 10. He's hoping to continue his climb up the leaderboard.
And 5. Tag and...
Heat 2 of the Sprint Cup is underway, so a couple guys got off to a rough start. One of them, Matt Fraser, he is in the back, in the middle of the field right now, but he's quickly making up ground. Time to beat 1:27.30 seconds.
And I want to say at the very bottom, it might have been Brent Fikowski first, or Samuel won first to the ring, and what he did was he used that sled push technique that Neil Maddox used in 2014, where he was crouched up to the sled and low, whereas everyone's doing that full extended position. I'm actually surprised that nobody remembered to do that. And Samuel Blunt just destroyed everybody on that first sled push.
Noel Olsen right now is your leader. He's battling with Samuel Blunt, James Newberry a couple reps back, Gubinson and Holberg in that lead pack as well. Holsager, he's on the left side of your screen, former football player. He's no stranger to pushing the sled around. Noah Olsen, as we take a look at Matt Fraser.
8 laps, 72 on the bike.
Samuel Blunt.
All right, last lap, round 2.
I finally feel like I'm better in this year, which is really cool. I think because there were so many good people that we got to meet this year, it's really easy.
All right, 50 overhead.
Wins the Noah Olsen now. You can put that in the got a little more on the thing. Third, Samuel Blunt is fourth. Connor Dunn is fifth, and it's Holsager in sixth place. We're going to step aside. The women are up next. Their competition continues at 1:40 p.m. We'll be back for their Sprint Cup here on the World Game of the 2019 Reebok CrossFit Games. We have finally had a chance to get some from the men's Sprint Cup. Now it's time to turn things over to the women's taking set for their fourth event of the 2019 Reebok CrossFit Games. We appreciate you being with us here today on a beautiful Friday. In Madison, Wisconsin, as we are still outside of the North Fork at the Alliant Energy Center. We have here at the desk. I'm Sean Blizzard with Chase Ingram, Andy Sakamoto, and Dan Bailey. The women's overall standings have changed quite a bit after last event. We had a change in the top 2 spots as Tia Jimmy retakes the overall lead, but only by 2 points over Kristen Volko. We were not going anymore. Carrie Pierce goes from first to third. Haley Adams has gone to fourth. Brooke Wells is in fifth. Catherine Davis-Donner is creeping up. Horvath gaining ground. So a lot of familiar names in the top 10 point standings. As after this event, we will cut down to 30 athletes, 2 heats of just 2 movements here. And look, this one's going to hurt if you want to have a chance to win.
Right, we're talking about what a great event this is as far as a cut event goes, right? Because it really just comes down to how hard are you willing to go, how much are you willing to suffer to keep yourself on the right side of the line.
We see a lot of familiar faces there in that top 10. I mean, we learned a little bit about how much going to change after this event, because the first heat of the last event turned out to be much better than the second heat. So a lot of flip-flops on the leaderboard are going to happen in between 90 seconds and 2 minutes.
Yeah, that's great news in the women's field here because, as I said earlier, we're cutting down to 30 athletes. Half of these women are on the wrong side of that line right now. Get themselves into at least the top 30 if they want to live and fight another day. You can do some damage here on this event. Games people as you want to keep an eye on that with Karen Craiova there in the middle of the field at lane 11.
Pulse.
What do you think these women learned, if anything, from watching the men?
Be ready to suffer.
Yeah.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how many of the female athletes choose to go and broke on the farm muscles.
Definitely going to attack the top end of that sled on this first push.
Three.
Sled is now unloaded for the women as we get set to start. Eagle on to event number 4. The sprint couplet is underway. 172 feet down, 15 bar muscle, 172 feet back to close Matt Sherwood. Couldn't be simpler.
Got it.
And usually when Pat says that, you're
Tag and
ready
pull.
for something.
Yeah.
First athletes are in and they will get to work on those 15 bar muscle ups.
We saw that bent arm, close elbow technique for the sled paid off early, but then early later, I think it was Karen Craiova. With the other savvy move she did is that she turned her sled and set it up when she was finished with the first sled. So when she comes off those muscle ups, she can go directly to the sled, and that's when they're coming off the rig.
We talk about interference a lot, how one movement affects another. What kind of interference are they experiencing when she's got full blast in the sled and now you got to hop up and do this high slope magic move?
When you think about that, it's heart rate, it's the slow increase of the leg pump. I think that part of it can be a little distracting. I mean, bar muscle-ups for all these athletes at this level isn't hard to do. 15 is not too much to ask for, but what it feels like changes that.
Meg Reardon is first off the pull-up bar. She is back on the sled. She is on the bottom of your screen. Pauline Fox, Karen Craiova,
1.
Courtney Haley and Carolyn Trevo are there, but it's going to be Meg Reardon. We think this one might come down to a couple of seconds, but Meg Reardon, wow, is edged out by Pauline Fox by 2/100ths of a second. Carolyn Trevo is in. 2/100ths of a second between Fox and Meg Reardon. 1:34.07 seconds. Karen Craiova is in.
Tag and pull.
Eagle just finished. Emma McQuaid, Willa Solmus and Helen is in. Emma Tall. Allison Walkley is in. And it's the post sled flop, I guess you could call it, that we saw in the first 2 heats for the men, and we're seeing it repeat itself here for the women. But man, what a great finish between Pauline Fox and Meg Reardon. It looked like Reardon had it, but the official chip timing says that it was Pauline Fox, 1:34.07 seconds.
Well, I don't even, it almost looked like Meg Reardon kind of, maybe Fox a little early, right? She kind of immediately relaxed and clean first and now all the way through.
Round 3. 6 laps. 54 on the bike. Last lap, round 3.
I think you're somebody heavy.
All right, 50 overhead.
Take to the field and hit the sprint couplet.
30 pounds now.
Packed North Park here at the Allied Energy Center. We are inside the rope 10 here in Madison, Wisconsin. Sean Woodman, Chase Singer, Manny Sakamoto, and Dan Bailey. Thank you so much for spending your Friday with us, everybody. We hope you're enjoying our coverage of the 2019 Ridout Games. Some things we want to reset here before we get into the final. Haley Adams, beginning of the day, we talked about her in 6th place, but now she's in 4th. An impressive run for Haley Adams. Sarah Siegensauer has crept up. She is an athlete that started the day in 2nd place. And she is now fallen to 14th. heats after the last event, so she has to work with it. Not seriously going to be cut, but on the bubble a little bit. You do not want to be 14 to 25 right now.
Right, on the bubble, how we want to be through this event. It's going to happen in a very little amount of time.
Right, and then it will be interesting to see how this event, considering how she looked on that last event.
Yeah, we saw things change drastically. I am on the very safe side for the next guy, which is the 30, but then we're going to 20. So you look at it, everything about the work you have done, you have to do in order to be safe as the final 20, top 20 women in the overall standings, taking the field for the second of two heats of the fourth event of the individuals here at the 2019 Reebok CrossFit Games, the sprint couplets. Overall standings coming in, only 6 points separate first from third, and Tia Claire Toomey is slinging the national lead. Kristen Holta, I'm going to say her name as much as I possibly can. She is only 2 points. Carrie Pierce is in fourth, and then it's a 20-point drop as Haley Adams has worked her way into the Captain David another time in 4 name on that list makes sense. This event makes sense. But it's going to hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's for sure.
It makes sense. It doesn't make sense to do it on your own.
That's a good point, yeah.
Well, this makes no sense. But as a test for these ladies, I think it's a perfect.
This will be a great test and a great sprint. And we talked about before, you just contrasted what we saw earlier. This one is about going all out. The overall leaders will be in the middle of the field. Sophia Toomey will be in lane number 10. The women who are immediately behind her, the overall standings, will be occupying the lanes closest to her. Kristen Holta, if she just finishes ahead of Toomey in this event, she might find herself in the overall lead.
Instead of only being separated like 2 points on the leaderboard, so it depends how close they are between each other. The one I'm curious to watch here is Amy Forrest, because of what happened in the previous event. We said before, this is a fantastic test between the two. I want to see how well she's performed, because this isn't exactly an event you're going to be able to bounce back from by what she went through in the previous event.
5, tag and pull
To
downs.
answer a question for me, was it something that was just occurring in that event, or is it something that's going to be occurring for the rest of the weekend for her?
Sarah Sigurdsson has talked about beast mode. This would be a good time for her to find that gear and get herself a top 2, top 3 finish.
Wherever that card is hiding in her back pocket,
You better play it now,
on
yeah.
the table.
And there is Annie Thorisdottir, who dropped out of the top 10 courtesy of her finish in the last event. Catherine Davidsdottir has been methodically working her way up the leaderboard. She currently sits inside the top 10. But seconds matter in this event as all these athletes look to survive the next cut, as we will move down to 30 athletes following the sprint couplet. We are underway. 134.07 seconds is your time to beat it. Belongs to Colleen Foch. 172 feet down in the sled, and then 15 bar muscle ups, 172 feet back.
4, 3, 2, 1.
The first 3 athletes finishing up that sled push. Brooke Wells in the middle of the screen. This will be one of them. And now onto those 15 bar muscle ups, and you just cannot waste any time. In the fact that the last heat we saw 2 100ths of a second to be the difference between first and second. Danielle Brandon, she's up there with Jamie Green, Amanda Barnhart, Laura Horvath, and Tia Toomey.
Amanda Barnhart had your fastest sled push across the field in just under 20 seconds.
So that makes sense, because if you remember the chaos event from last year when Barnhart got on the slug, just demolished people on that thing. I think she passed like 6 or 7 people as Tia Toomey continues to
5, technical.
Now it's Jamie Green back on the sled. Danielle Brandon is just about done. The Green is losing ground, and if I had to guess, I'm going to say that's Amanda Barnhart. Amanda Barnhart, I hope I am right about this. Once again, just doing some grunt work, and Amanda Barnhart wins the sprint couplet. Jamie Green is going to finish second. Danielle Brandon, we're going to take you seriously. You finished third in the event at a frat college sport. Keep an eye on now who's winning the battle between Tia Toomey and Kristen Holta. Toomey is in. I have not seen Kristen Holta's name come in. So Tia Toomey looks like she's going to hang on to the overall lead. Good news for Thorisdottir is she's in. So is Laura Horvath. Carrie Pierce, now Kristen Holta. But Amanda Barnhart.
4.
My goodness.
She only had about a 4-second differential between her first sled push and her second.
Yeah, round 4. 4 laps, 36 on the bike.
Stop on that second sled push.
Round 4.
I like power, so it's kind of my jam. To say the least, for sure. But looking ahead to the weekend, we know that this is the first time that I've had some kind of additional pressures that I put on you in your performance. It's in the back of your mind, but I'm really trying not to think about it. Basically, just do my best, and if I get that, and then we're very far. Congratulations, guys. Thank you.
All right, 50 overhead, 20 pounds up.
Wins the event with 100 points in the process, and unofficially, she's going to move into second place overall, just 13 points back at Tia Toomey.
Similar to what we saw with the men's leaderboard, a little shakeup on that event 4 on the leaderboard.
Guess who's still hanging in there, though?
Kristen Holta is still in the same question again. We got to make up for a lot of lost time with her. She sits in third place over the official. The Barnhart, these are official results. Sub 1:30, 1:29.08. Colleen Foch and Megan Rear, they hang on to second and third. And then Jamie Green takes fourth. Danielle Brandon, well, welcome to the CrossFit Games. Welcome to the big time. She takes 5th overall, and Anna Fragdow will finish in 6th place.
17. 18.
Once again, officially, what this means in the overall standings. The Tia Toomey
21.
is going to be your overall leader still at 343 points. This is all unofficial. She's in 4th. Second place would be Amanda Barnhart, courtesy of that win. 13 points back. Kristen Holta sits in 3rd, only 1 point ahead of Carrie Pierce in 4th. Jamie Green is in 5th, and then it's Danielle Brandon, again unofficially, sits in 6th place. We have talked a lot about who could be the best player who can get herself on the podium. Haven't seen one since 2014, but really changed it. Let's make a pretty good case for that period.
And that's the podium finish, but maybe a first place finish that we haven't seen in a long time across the race.
Yeah, she just was so impressive. We're now through 4 events. The leaderboard is starting to shape in sense. You would think that these were some of the names that you would see at the beginning of the day. We asked, Daniel Brandon, is she some Daniel Brandon, some of the jersey here? Well, the answer now is yes. What questions did she answer? Did she have about her coming into the set?
She's definitely more well-rounded than she was. She's starting to prove that she's more well-rounded as an overall athlete. We've had a whole bunch of different movements, and she's proven confident in each one. That's why she's near the top of the leaderboard.
Well, I was actually talking to Blair Morrison for a split second, and he knows her because she's grown up in the Sacramento area. And I said, "What do you think, Blair?" And he said, "She is she's a classic overtrainer, just in that she is willing to take on all the work that you give her. The only question he had was mentally, can she put this weekend together? Physically, he said she's got it. It'll be mentally if she can hang on."
All right, well, we're going to take a quick break. For a while, actually, not a quick one. We're going to take a good break. Action is going to continue, though, at 3:15, and we will be back with you to get you set for the next event, whatever and for whomever it may be. So stick around. We'll be back in a little while here on the Rogue Iron Game of the 2019 Ridout CrossFit.
5.
Credit, run from it. Destiny arrives all the same. Day number 2 rolls on here of the 2019 Reebok CrossFit Games in beautiful Madison, Wisconsin. We are inside the Rogue tent at the Alliant Energy Center. Thank you so much for being with us here today, everybody. I am Sean Woodley with Danny Sakamoto and Chase Ingram, as we are now set for the next round of competition. The individuals are going to be up for their event that was just announced. We're going to get that to you in a second.
5.
We have some updating to do on some standings. Just a little update. The overall standings for the men right now. And this is after 4 events. And some of you who have been paying attention might notice that, hey, these look different than the last time we saw them, and there's a good reason for that. And these are not the correct ones. These are the old ones. Matt Fraser used to have a 24 left. What is that? 4-point lead? I'm not good at math. Now, Matt Fraser has a 2-point lead over Noah Olsen. Fraser's still in the overall lead at 311 points. Olsen is now in second place at 309, so only 3 points separate first from third. James Newberry is just 3 points out. There's a drop-off after that, but why did that happen? Well, you probably all have seen on social media, Matt Fraser on one of his ruck runs had one of the weighted bags fall out of the back of his pad. He did not replace it. He was assessed a 60-second penalty. He now finished 17th in that event. That means that he earned just 68 points. But this has certainly made things a lot more interesting. I don't know when the last time that we said Matt Fraser was feeling the heat on a Friday.
And it's interesting in a way, in a sense, because it's not due to a performance issue. It had to do with how the event took place. And in the midst of that event, Sean, as you said, a bag had fallen out of his pack during the event. And you know, the assessment of the penalty, the other one is he's having little hiccups. You see he dug the skids of the plate directly into the ground during the last event. So it's not a clean run for Matt Fraser, so maybe that might be part of the heat. It's still not the athletes, though, that are pushing the tempo.
Yeah, that's a good point, because when we were here in the pregame show yesterday, we said, well, what can stop Matt Fraser? Matt Fraser had mistakes, and well, here we are.
And then it's really important that these other athletes capitalize on these mistakes.
Right.
So these other athletes need to look at, oh, now we're 1 point behind Matt Fraser. Now's the time to strike.
That's the big news right now. It's getting adjusted to the...
All right, here we go, last lap. 2 laps.
What else is so far?
2 laps, 18 on the bike.
You know, he has been within reach of the podium the last 2 years at the CrossFit Games. So he finished last year in 6th place, and the year before that, in 2017, he finished in 4th place. The podium slipped out of his grip on the second to last workout. So for him right now, to be not only in 2nd place, but like you just said, only 2 points behind Matt Fraser is a really good spot for him to be, especially when you look at...
All right, last lap, round 5.
Had no part in the fact that he didn't have the ability to make it to the CrossFit Games, but he just hasn't been here since 2016. He's been hard charging at the leaderboard. Of course, he had a 29th place finish in the previous event, but it still kept him up into the top 5. And now you have an event coming up that if I were to rename any benchmark workout, I would rename Mary Hepner, because he posted a video of him doing that workout to near 30 rounds before, and that is just absolutely insane what he can do in this event.
Jacob Heffner, he's in this place right now, 272 points, only 1 point up on Samuel Blunt. Some names that you're not going to see in the top 10, a pair of Canadians, Pat Bellmer, he's in 11th place overall. Brent Mikowski is in 15th. Is it a little bit of concern now from either one of those guys at this point?
Definitely, I think so. I think Mikowski was on yesterday, that first event yesterday, he didn't come out with the 5 that I would have expected in Brent Mikowski. And then to have that little kind of bobble at the end of the handstand workout was really worrisome to me. So not the start to the CrossFit Games that I would hope for Brent Mikowski.
And on the business side, for both those guys, they haven't really asserted their dominance like they have the ability to do here every once in a while throughout the CrossFit Games. I mean, he has Mikowski that he wins events, right? If there's anything that he can do is that he'll get his event wins. We just haven't seen a clean run from either one of the Canadian men.
Someone we have seen a clean run is James Newberry. He is within hair of the top of the overall leaderboard. He has certainly put himself together, and I think Michelle Tyler had a lot to do with that this year.
I mean, to have a coach at this level is so vital. and so important. And the point now at the CrossFit Games where you can almost see the difference between athletes and the coaching that they're getting.
Well, and especially in an event like this, where there's so many unknowns and unknowable, you're going to rely on a lot on that coach to keep you calm, to continue with all the preparation. You know, when they make these short announcements, you only have 20 minutes, maybe an hour to get ready for an event. You're very dependent on your coach to help you with whatever kind of strategies you might need.
I think we have updated standings.
Okay.
So like the CrossFit Games, we have also updated our leaderboard. So one more time, here's where we stand. This is correct. When that Fraser went from a pretty comfortable lead to now just 2 points, and it was with James Newberry by 3 points. After that, it was a bit of a drop. Adrian Rubauer is the fourth, followed by Jacob Pepper and Samuel Flood. Scott Panchik and Cole Sager, Lucas Hogarth. Look, you only have 3 points separating 4 from 10. And there's still guys on the outside of the top 10 who can easily punch their way in here in the next event. Let's go over now to the women's overall standings, where we saw the shakeups kind of take place at the top of the leaderboard over the last 2 events. Tia Toomey, she's awesome. We get that. She's in the overall lead. That's expected. Amanda Barnhart, we saw her on the sled in that last event. That's essentially what she has done on the overall leaderboard. She is now in 2nd place by just 13 points. Kristen Polta is in 3rd, just being typical Kristen Polta self. Carrie Pierce, who led after 2 events, she is now back and forth with Jamie Green. Miss Danielle Brandon has moved up a spot. She is in 6th. Alessandra Pacelli, Laura Horvath crawling up the leaderboard. Emily Rolf out of the event win. Now Anna Bradkow performance for the last event. She cracks the top 10. But we talk about Tia Toomey all the time, so we're going to go down 1 spot to Amanda Barnhart. She looked impressive last year at the games. Clearly had some holes though, but I think those are gone now.
Right, I was so excited to see her on that last event, just like you said, kind of hard charge towards the finish line and up the leaderboard, because this was the glimpse of Amanda Barnhart that we got last year at the games when she won the speed clean and jerk ladder and did so well as a rookie. So far this weekend, she's paid a 19, a 4th, a 15, and then of course the first place, the event win on that event 4. And we haven't even really seen outside of that snatch in the very first event, a heavy barbell come out. So bring us a heavy barbell, and I think we'll see Amanda Barnhart solidify that spot in the top 10.
3 names that you did not see in the top 10, and I think we're a little surprised that they are not there in the women who are collectively known as the daughters. That's Annie Thornton. She is in 13th. Sarah Sigmundsdottir, she is all the way down in 25th. And Catherine Davis' daughter, she's in 15th. What's going on with these 3?
Well, the daughters are kind of going the way of the Canadian men currently on the women's leaderboard, is that they are tumbling down the leaderboard. In fact, the current top daughter at the games is Turi Helgadottir, who's sitting at 12th.
5, got it.
Above the other 3.
25 pull downs, you guys are done.
This is uncharacteristic of the daughters that we've seen, and it's just been a tough day. We saw Annie start off the day in event number 3, and she just got broke by this event on the run. She ended up walking, kind of overheated. Sarah Sigmundsdottir just hasn't had a good start to the weekend, and that was the one thing we were really concerned about with Sarah Sigmundsdottir was how's the headspace, how's the fierce Sarah that we're used to seeing, and she's put in a lot of work to fix that, and it almost seems like it's almost getting worse than we've seen at any stage of the CrossFit Games.
And look, keep this in mind, she's in 25th right now. There is another cut looming down to 20. So right now, Sarah Sigmundsdottir is on the wrong side of that line. I couldn't imagine a scenario coming into this where she got cut. Now here we are.
Right.
That is just hard to fathom. Next event though, Sarah is going to have to do really well. That was just announced. It is one that we use as a benchmark in CrossFit. It is called Mary, and it is a 20-minute handstand, 5 handstand push-ups, 10 pistols, 15 pull-ups, and they're going for the whole 20 minutes. What are the keys here to this event?
A lot of this is just managing your work and understanding your own game plan. 20 minutes is a eternity when you have movements like this with
45, 56.